journey. I'm pretty excited about it starting this this year. You know, it's kind of missed it. It was kind of threatened.
This is right in my wheelhouse, so I'm ready to own you. So let's get into it. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Obviously, a lot of moves have been made by teams in the NFL, so we're going to go through that. Best and worst free agent signings. I'll start.
Go ahead.
Best free agent signing to me was Santonio Holmes for the Jets. They needed to keep a wide receiver. They ended up losing Braylon Edwards. I think they needed to keep some consistency on the wide receivers, and I think that was a huge signing for them. I think he's one of the best wide receivers out there.
I think he's gonna suffer without Edwards there, because I think he's like the number. I think he was sort of the number 2 guy behind Braylon. Now Braylon, you know, took a lot of the coverage. So I don't know.
But they brought in Plaxico, so he's going to pick up some coverage too.
Yeah, but Plaxico, I mean, come on. He's
that's my best free agent signing. My worst free agent signing, I'm going to go, you know, it is a quarterbacks league, and so I got to go with a toss-up between the Panthers and the Seattle Seahawks. The Panthers getting Derek Anderson when they already have 2 quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, Cam Newton, Jimmy Clausen. And then Seattle picking up Tavares Jackson, I just didn't understand that at all. He's been terrible in Minnesota. So
well, they need a quarterback. They got rid of Hasselbeck. What do you want to do?
They should have signed Hasselbeck. They're idiots. That's what they should have done. They should have signed Hasselbeck. But tell me, what's your worst free agent out there that got signed?
I think the worst free agent I've seen is the I don't know worst free. I don't have a worst free agent. Why don't you ask me the best free agent? I know.
What's the best? Best free agent. What do you got? Best free agent.
I think the best free agent is the cornerback that the Eagles picked up.
Asmore?
Yeah.
Asmore?
From the Raiders. I think he's the best pickup.
He's obviously, he was the biggest name out there, and the guy that was really being debated about where he was going to go. And kind of the Eagles, I thought, swooped in there at the end, because everybody had talked about he was going to the Jets, and then he ended up with the Eagles, so that was kind of a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Eagles really strengthened their team. I think they got Vince Young. I think they brought in some other people. You know, they look like really the team to beat this year, especially in the NFC.
Well, hold on. We'll get into we'll start picking teams a little bit later. Hold on now. Now, obviously, another thing that goes on in kind of the off-season transactions here, the trades. Obviously, a lot of trades went on. People going here, going there. Best and worst trades. What did you have as kind of your best, worst trade?
I think the worst. I'll start with the worst trade because I think that's easier. I think Cobb going to the Eagle. Excuse me.
I can't believe we're going to agree on this.
I think they just totally ripped the Cardinals off.
So the Cardinals basically overpaid, right? Because they gave up a 2nd rounder and they gave up Rogers Cromartie, who has been on that defense for years, right? And Cobb, I still don't think is a proven quarterback. I mean, obviously it's just my opinion, but he just hasn't proven to me that he's worth a 2nd round pick and one of the better corners in the league.
He kind of reminds me of Chris Bosh in the NBA. It's like, how did all the hype get started about him? All of a sudden everyone's on the Cobb bandwagon, but it's like, what can you point to? Like 5 games? I mean, it doesn't really have that much.
That's actually a pretty decent analogy. I kind of like that. You know what I had for the best trade? I had the Vikings picking up McNabb from the Redskins. They only had to give up, at most, 2 6th-round picks for a guy who's been a Pro Bowler.
I think he's kind of done.
Many years. Well, hold on a second. Let me finish my argument. I think last year he kind of took a step back because he was in a terrible offensive scheme with the Redskins. They had no offensive line, and it was just bad for him and bad for everybody all around. I think he's going to go to Minnesota where they can run the ball like 70% of the time and still win a game. So it takes a lot of the pressure off him, and he's even come out and said that over the offseason he spent a lot of time working on fundamentals. 2 6th-rounders for a guy that a year ago got 2 1st-rounders? I mean, that's just a heck of a trade right there. And he restructured his contract.
I thought it was a better trade actually for the Redskins just to get rid of that guy.
Doesn't make any sense at all.
He was horrible.
Hey, we got rid of a guy.
Did you watch him?
They could have cut him. Why'd they give up 2 6th-round picks?
Well, they got. They got 2.
Why'd they give up the 2 1st-round picks before that?
Well, I mean, sometimes you have to just admit your mistake and move on.
I think
he was horrible with the Redskins.
He was not horrible.
He was horrible.
For a ton of yards.
Did you watch any of the games?
I watched the games. He was
the guy's 5 yards away. Let me throw it at his feet.
He was worse than Rex Grossman, really? Rex Grossman comes in at the end of the game and fumbles.
Grossman was better than he was.
Really?
Did you watch the games?
I watched the games. Give me some stats. Tell me what was better.
I'm telling you, Grossman was better. Grossman could take him down the field. I mean, McNabb. I mean, it's like, I love the guy.
I never saw Grossman lead him down the field ever.
I don't think you watched the games.
I watch the Redskins every week. I live in D.C. It's the only thing I can watch. I don't have the package like you. I don't watch all the other games. The only thing I can watch around here is either the Ravens or the Redskins.
I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you said Donovan's as good as.
It's great because now the Vikings have a guy to mentor Christian Ponder for a year, and he can come in the next year, and they've got. I mean, McNabb's not worse than Favre.
He's not mentor anybody. He's not mentor anybody.
So you're giving a guy no credit for anything at all.
Well, I don't say I would give him no credit. I just don't think he was very good last year.
He wasn't very good last year, but what about the 10 seasons before that?
Well, I mean, there comes a time where your career's kind of up, and I think he's kind of reaching that, isn't he?
I think Brett Favre proved that that's not exactly true. I think a lot of these guys came back.
He's no Brett Favre. I mean, come on.
I don't think Brett Favre was like really throwing huge numbers out there.
How many championships does McNabb have? That's right, 0. I forgot. It just came to me right now.
Okay. So your best trade is literally the Redskins getting rid of a guy. That's your best trade. There was no team out there that got somebody that you could say that was the best trade. It's literally we dumped a guy. We got 2 6-round picks.
I think I'm maybe a little jaded because I live in the Washington area, but I just think, you know, man, you got rid of this guy. That was a good move. I think that's going to help the whole team.
All right, so moving on. Now we're going to look at teams overall and who had the best offseason with their transactions. What do you got best, worst for teams overall, collectively, what they did in the last couple of weeks?
I think the Eagles are probably the best overall. And I know I jumped the gun, I guess, a little earlier, but I just think everybody that they added to this whole you know, getting Cromartie, getting Vince Young, you know, I think they just improved their team. I think they're going to be the ones to be. That's going to be a tough. That's going to be a good 1-2 punch. Him and Vince Young and Mike Vick. That's going to be a great
1-2 punch. I mean, they're not going to be on the field together. It's not like they're interchangeable running backs. So
he's got a good backup. But, well, I think they're going to run a pass.
What did Vince do? What did Vince do that you think is like so great that he's going to be a wonderful backup?
He won a lot of games at Tennessee. I think he got a bum rap because I think Jeff Fisher kind of didn't like him. I think he didn't like drafting him, so there was a lot of negativity. The guy won a lot of games down there. He's a very good winning percentage. And I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but it's a very good winning percentage down there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, he didn't have great. He's one of those guys. He didn't have great stats. You can't point to all his touchdowns, but he wins games. I mean, what do you want?
I don't know. If Kerry Collins can come in, who's like ancient and play better than Vince Young, I'm thinking he's really not that great.
I don't think he played better. I don't think he played better.
Oh, he played better than Vince Young. He played better than Vince
Young. You don't have the football package. You just said it. How many Tennessee Titan games did you watch?
Yeah, because that's the team you're always watching. Mr. Jets fan.
Every Sunday, man.
I'll tell you the best team that made moves in this offseason was definitely the Patriots. And I am going to go with, they picked up Hainsworth, who I think now they're going to switch from a 3-4 to a 4-3. That's going to be huge. They got Ellis. They picked up Ocho Cinco for like nothing. I mean, these guys give away 6-round picks for like people who are like on the verge of being back to Pro Bowl. I mean,
I think you're hoping
they re-signed Matt Light on the offense, on the offensive line. So I mean, you got to really look at the Patriots as a whole. That they do the most with the least.
I think Ocho Cinco, though. I mean, what's he going to do? I mean, he's in the twilight of his career.
Is there anybody who's not in the twilight of their career in your mind? Like,
there's a lot of guys, not the guys you're mentioning.
Give me a break, man.
I mean, he can't go underneath. Wes Welker's there. They got all these tight ends, right? They got Gonzalez. They got what's his name, Grabowski. And so he's got to go. Was he go deep? I mean, he's old.
First of all, Ocho Cinco doesn't play tight end, so I don't know why he's going to be involved with.
I'm talking about going underneath, right? But, I mean, that's a lot of the better.
I don't think Ocho Cinco is a big underneath guy. He's going to be more of a deep threat, kind of burn the post.
What is he? 35? What is he? I mean,
yeah, I don't think.
So what? He's going to burn people deep? I mean, what's going to happen?
I don't think he's that old at all. But
I don't know if he's going to fit in the scheme.
Overall, what they've done, the biggest decision they made was switch into a 4-3 now from a 3-4. I mean, that's huge. They're looking at the personnel they have, and they've made a change. I think overall, they've done the best.
could work out.
I think the Eagles could work out. I would put the Eagles at number 2 behind them. And then what I would say is the worst team with their transactions during the offseason, I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks, because they let Hasselbeck go, who's been like a perennial quarterback for them. And
he's the twilight of his career.
They picked up Tarvaris Jackson. Why do you like all these young guys who haven't proven themselves? Vince Young, Tarvaris Jackson.
I'm not a huge Tarvaris Jackson.
Really, he played well. Really, is that what you're going with? I mean, and then they pick up Sidney Rice, who's like a one-hit wonder. I mean, it's like
he had some good years.
He had a good year in Minnesota. He was hurt last year.
He was injured last year.
And then before that, he didn't do anything.
Well,
so,
I mean, you're sort of gambling on that he sort of turned the corner 2 years ago, and last year he got hurt, so he'll just pick up where he was.
I just don't think he will, and I think that's bad. I mean, there's just too many.
He looked pretty good.
There's too many
2 years
guys.
ago, he looked pretty good. I mean,
that was a juggernaut team in Minnesota, though. They had Adrian Peterson. Favre was playing out of his mind. They had Shanko. They had a lot of receivers. They had Berrien. I mean, they had a lot of. They had, Percy Harvin. I mean, they had a lot of guys to go to. I think it was easy to do that. Now he's in Seattle. Who else does Seattle have?
I think there's question marks. There's no doubt.
I just don't think Seattle has anybody else, and I think they kind of just dropped the ball in the offseason, man. They're just. I don't know where Pete Carroll's going with that team, but it's gonna be tough.
He built a great team in USC.
Cheated, but anyway. Oh, guess
That's
what?
all story.
We're going to talk about college football now. All right.
Segue.
Good segue.
But no, but in the following weeks, we're going to follow up with our picks on the NFL and who we think is going to make it to the playoffs, Super Bowl champ, and watch for that.